Prime Minister reminds her party of the source of its political strength. The royal visit concludes with a spiritual blessing. And in sports, a change of the guard at the helm of Cricket West Indies.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
A very good evening to you with the Sunday, March 24th edition of CBC News Night. I'm Ryan Broom. In our top story, Prime Minister Mia Motley says the true strength of any political party lies in the people within it being able to positively impact the lives of others. Prime Minister Motley made the comment as members of the Barbados Labour Party celebrated the annual Founders' Day with a Thanksgiving service at the Calvary Moravian Church in Roebuck Street. Members of Cabinet, members of the party, and well-wishers filled the pews to be a part of the historic event as the party celebrated.
We take so much for granted. And as a party, we also do thinking that the party is this monolithic creature. The party is you and 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 me. It's all of us. Without people, this institution is nothing. And the one thing that I would want always for my leadership to reflect in this party is that people matter at the beginning, people matter in the middle, and people matter at the end.
Prime Minister Motley adds that faith and capacity are two important watchwords going forward.
I know that there are a lot of young people out there who are in need of support and love and mentorship. And this party is but just one of the institutions that has a duty to reach out to them in whatever way we can. And I don't mean in politics. I mean in that simple way that I spoke to us when I first became leader in 2008, that we have to help people to sleep easier when the night comes. And those people, it doesn't only mean old people, it doesn't only mean poor people, it means any and everybody. And there are multiple ways in which we have the skills and the capacity to make people's lives different.
In other news, Prince Charles and the Duchess of Cornwall concluded the first leg of their Caribbean tour with a trip to church in Barbados. The couple attended Sunday service at the Cathedral Church of St. Michael and All Angels before flying on to Cuba for their historic royal visit. The royal couple was joined by Governor General Dame Sandra Mason. The service was staged for the Prince and Duchess, who were featured in the prayers, as were the Queen and Duke of Edinburgh. Bishop of Barbados, the Right Reverend Michael Maxwell, says he believes the visit was inspired and commissioned by God at a time when the region's current affairs are not the very best.
As our loving God has been hearing our cries over the years, I believe He sent you to visit us like Moses, to see firsthand the economic, social, and moral issues that are currently affecting us here in the Caribbean, and to assist us in addressing them, to pledge your support, to enter dialogue with us and establish closer ties, to let us know British's genuine love and care for us today, and your desire to work with and lend a helping hand to us.
Now, prior to their departure, the Prince of Wales was given a royal salute by a 96-strong detachment of the Barbados Regiment and the Barbados Defense Forces band in Zouave uniform. The couple was greeted on the red carpet by a host of government officials at the Grantley Adams International Airport, including Prime Minister Mia Motley. Their official trip to Cuba will be a first by members of the monarchy and comes after the couple's tour of 5 Commonwealth Caribbean countries where the Queen is head of state. The Sanitation Service Authority is moving to boost its fleet with an additional 12 garbage trucks. The update was provided by Chairman of the SSA and Chief Executive Officer of the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, Senator Rudy Grant, at a recent BHTA quarterly meeting. 3 trucks currently at Simpson Motors will be added soon.
I believe that the SSA is seeking to ensure that it carries out its mandate even though challenged with equipment. And I can also tell you that the board of the SSA has submitted to the ministry, its parents' ministry, the Ministry of Environment and National Beautification a recommendation with respect to the purchase of an additional 12 garbage trucks as well as further equipment.
A university lecturer is appealing to government to change the national curriculum so that migration and other relevant history is taught in schools. Henderson Carter, head of the History and Philosophy Department at the UWI Cave Hill, says it should be taught to students from 1st to 3rd form. He's concerned that Barbadians have missed the significance of the experiences of those who left the island for greener pastures in the 1950s and 1960s, and it's particularly worrisome in light of the challenges faced by the so-called Windrush generation in Britain today.
But I call for this to be taught because the migrant experiences are important. And I hope that during this lecture series, migrants will share. Their contribution needs to be examined. What did migrants contribute to Britain? What did they contribute to the National Health Service? We also need to let people know, our Barbadian school children know, the value of the remittances from Britain and, of course, from the United States.
And Mr. Carter also wants Barbadians to embrace their history.
And there's this notion that you cannot be employed with a history degree. So why do history? And parents are guilty of this. Guidance counselors are guilty of it. Of course, I must point out that the skills that are taught in history are critical for any person in the workplace.
Well, the residents of the Thelma Vaughan Memorial Home in the Glebe St. George have been benefiting from the charitable actions of a young businessman. Since October last year, the owner of World Class Cuts, Paul Whitney, has been offering barbering service to some of the residents of the home free of charge. Mr. Whitney, whose business is located at Kensington Mall, says it was just their way of giving back to the community, adding that as part of the arrangement, they visit the home twice a month to provide the barbering services.
Well, at first it started when we first started the barber course. We started in July. And I didn't only want the guys to be just bringing in people to cut their hair, so I said, you know what, let's try to give back to someone too. So then I contacted the Thelma Vaughan home and they told me it was okay, and from there, from October to now, we've just been coming.
Mr. Whitney adds that they have also been trying to offer their free services to other homes, including children's homes.
This is our chance of giving back, something that we are promoting in art, of random kindness. Yeah, and that's our charity. We're trying to get it more out there right now, so we are trying to get people to join us.
To news from the region now, in Trinidad and Tobago, High Court Judge Frank C. Prasad is calling for the country to take a stand against corruption by urgently demanding campaign finance regulations before the 2020 general elections. More from Melissa Williams-Zambrano.
Corruption is not just a topic, but according to High Court Judge Frank C. Prasad, corruption also impacts how well an elected government does while in office. Recounting a case where judgment was delivered in May last year, the very vocal judge says the claimant took a political party to court over money that was given ahead of the 2007 general election. While the claimant said it was a loan, the defendant said it was a political donation. Justice C. Prasad says the case reinforced that this country has grown accustomed to such practices.
Such an approach to governance is untenable, unethical, and inconsistent with the oath of public office, which demands that all decisions and actions should be made freely, fairly, and in the best interest of all citizens of the Republic.
He says it is clear campaign finance reform should be enacted before the 2020 election and the veil of secrecy regarding donations removed.